Hello, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be checking out nezha, China's symbol of rebellion video essay. I thankfully got permission from this content creator to react to this video. So if you do enjoy this original video, then be sure to support the original video. And if you enjoy my reaction to it, then be sure to give it a like, comment down below, subscribe, and share, okay? And I do want to say that I did watch this movie, I think a few months ago. Oh no, it was like a week after I think nezha 2 was released. I didn't watch nezha 2, so I don't really have an opinion about it, but I really enjoy nezha, so I really wanted to see what the symbol of rebellion is all about and just check out the video essay and recommend it to all of you to watch too. So let's get started and check this out.
Sponsored by Squarespace. With the immense success of nezha 2, our international viewers may be curious about the series. However, if you do watch the films on your own, you may find them overwhelming. Crazy stuff keeps happening with minimal context. It's like watching anime for the first time as a normie. Admittedly, the unpredictable experience can be fun, but for those who prefer a reason for this chaos, this is the video for you. The nezha series is based on the investor
nezha. I was pronouncing it wrong this whole day. But in any case, I do also want to point out that if you did consume a lot of wuxia stuff, either as games, light novels, manhwas or whatnot, then it's not going to be as like unpredictable, I suppose, as the way that he puts it. But if you have never really consumed that kind of stuff, then it would be pretty unpredictable and hard to understand in some cases.
The Trail of the Gods, a Ming Dynasty novel, which itself is based on existing Chinese myths. These myths are common knowledge to Chinese people. The film used this shared knowledge as a foundation and reinvent the story for modern Chinese audiences. To truly understand what that means, and to understand why nezha 2 is so successful, we have to know the myth and its history. So, join us as we journey through the history of nezha and see how this character went from a child corrupted by his power to a symbol that challenges Chinese conformist culture. This is your spoiler warning.
The animation was so good.
Let's dive in.
Part 1.
Investiture of the Gods is a fantasy novel about the war that overthrew the tyrannical Shang Dynasty, circa 1046 BCE. In this war of gods and monsters, nezha was one of the leading heroes of the rebellion. This was the primordial era of Chinese myths, before the heavenly court was fully formed and when ancient gods were few and reclusive. Rule of law had yet to encompass all worlds. Humans and monsters roamed freely across the realms. Magic and miracles were common. That's why everything I'm about to say will sound insane. It's not that Chinese myths are particularly weird. These are just ancient myths set in a chaotic era. In the fortress of Chengtang Pass lived Commander Li Jing and his wife, Lady Yin. The two were expecting the third child, though oddly, the pregnancy has lasted over 3 years. Things went from strange to terrifying when Lady Yin finally gave birth to not a baby, but a lump of flesh.
What?
Believing it was a demon, Li Jing struck it with his sword. The flesh split open, and out stepped nezha, a young boy who could already speak, walk, and wield godly strength. As it turns out, nezha was the reincarnation of a sacred pearl. This is why he was born as an Italian meatball.
Italian meatball. Although I do have to say, imagine giving birth to a lump of flesh and then the baby comes out to be talking and strong. I don't know, that's kind of scary. I wonder how Lady Yin actually dealt with it.
And possessed supernatural powers.
At least
All's well ends well, but this violent first encounter was only the beginning of a turbulent relationship between father and son. Trouble began when, one day, nezha went to play at the sea. Unaware of his own strength, nezha accidentally stirred the ocean and clashed with Aobing, the prince of the sea dragons.
Oh,
too young to know right from wrong, nezha ended up killing Aobing. This enraged the dragon clan, who demanded justice from Li Jing. The dust has yet to settle, but another trouble was already brewing. Nezha found his father's treasured magical bow and
That's the problem when you are a parent of like a super powerful baby or child, and obviously in those cases it's really hard for you to know how to discipline a kid like that and help them control their strength. Oh boy, that's terrifying.
eager to practice, shot an arrow into the sky. It flew for miles, accidentally killing the acolyte of the ancient stone goddess. With gods and dragons at his doorstep and the wrath of his father upon him, Nezha took his own life, bringing balance to his kill-death ratio.
Dang.
But the trouble didn't stop there. In her grief, Nezha's mother built a temple where Nezha's soul can rest. With prayers and offerings, Nezha could one day be brought back to life. When Li Jing found the temple, however, he destroyed it, unwilling to revive his evil son. The hostility between father and
That's really sad. I wouldn't call him evil. It's just more like he was ignorant and difficult. But I guess for the dad, it's more like, oh, what a troublesome son, therefore he's evil, which is really sad.
son grew deeper. To Li Jing's dismay, Nezha was resurrected by an immortal using a body crafted from lotus roots. With a new life, what was the first thing Nezha did? Trying to kill his dad, of course.
Oh my
A
gosh.
fierce battle ensued, and Nezha was clearly stronger. Li Jing was only saved when a god intervened, trapping Nezha beneath a magical pagoda. The pagoda and the method to control Nezha was given to Li Jing, and so Nezha was finally subdued. The two eventually reconciled and fought side by side to overthrow the corrupt Shang dynasty. That is the origin story of Nezha.
I gotta say, it's amazing that Nezha forgave his dad, because I don't know about you guys, if I'm about to be killed by my own dad, I'm not gonna be so forgiving, but you know, he's gotta be a hero, so therefore he needs to forgive the dad that clearly wants to off your head, but
Viewers of this channel may have noticed that Nezha's character arc bears a striking resemblance to that of Sun Wukong. They are both unruly but powerful beings who, after being punished for their misdeeds, went on to use the power for a righteous cause. This parallel may not be coincidental, as Investiture of the Gods may have drawn inspiration from the popularity of Journey to the West and the Gods and Monsters genre. Notably, Nezha is a minor character from Journey. Later in Investiture, he fought alongside Erlang, also a character.
you know, I'm pretty sure I watched this movie. I didn't realize though, but I watched it in the movie theater. I don't remember the name of the movie though, but I mildly enjoyed it. It's just that unfortunately the area where it was like a particular place in the movie theater where I get motion sick because the screen was like too big and the sound was a lot more like echoey, I guess, even if I was like sitting in the way back. So I didn't feel very good when I was watching it because of that particular issue, but it was a mildly enjoyable series when I was watching
From
it.
Journey. Sort of.
I just didn't know that the kid was Nezha though.
Connections between the books and the myths in a moment. For now, this is our starting point. You may not be hooked yet, but things are about to get a whole lot more interesting. Investiture is not only a dynastic war, but also a battle between Taoist sects. A pitted Chan Taoism practiced by humans against Jie Taoism, followed by animals and monsters. This detail set the stage for Nezha 2. In this war of magic and miracles, success depends on spreading one's ideas. That's why I recommend Squarespace to both sides of the conflict. With Squarespace, you can create a website accessible to everyone, tailor-made to show up your brand.
Oh, this is the
All you
best
need to do
ad
is
ever.
pick a template or even start from scratch and explore your creativity from there. With a multitude of tools and tutorials, even a Shang Dynasty Taoist unfamiliar with technology can produce great results. Although I've been
Clearly.
told Shang Dynasty Taoists are actually good with tech. Or maybe not.
Right.
Start your free trial at squarespace.com/AxonaCinema. Use the code AxonaCinema and you can get 10% off your first purchase. Why resort to bloodshed when you can peacefully duke it out in cyberspace? Build your brand, show up your work, start your business with a website. Visit squarespace.com/AxonaCinema today.
And now on to part 2.
Before we continue, there are 2 things I should clarify. Firstly,
Yes.
the myth on nezha predates the book. The novel merely borrowed the character and made many changes to his backstory. Secondly, within China, investiture isn't considered to be a great classic. The combination of altered setting and lackluster writing with room for improvement may be why nezha's story has shifted greatly over the past several hundred years.
I mean, yeah, I can see that. It's like when he was explaining how it went, I can see why it wouldn't be considered a great novel or a popular one for that matter.
The 1979 animated film Nezha Conquers the Dragon King flipped the story on its head. In this adaptation, the dragons are real assholes, terrorizing Chentang Pass, demanding human sacrifices, and causing perpetual drought. While the adults revere the dragons, nezha, with an untainted sense of justice, fights back to protect his friends, killing the Dragon Prince in self-defense. The ensuing conflict between nezha and his father plays out largely the same, except nezha is obviously in the right. This made nezha a tragic hero, much different from the original. This adaptation is, with no exaggeration, a cultural cornerstone in mainland China.
Either way for
Today,
nezha.
if you ask a Chinese person to recite the story of nezha, they may recite the plot from this film instead. That's how influential the animation is. And
becoming the
it's
true
only the beginning.
myth.
The 2001 Hong Kong TV series Gods of Honor similarly made nezha a rebellious hero. Remember the magic bow and arrow? In this adaptation, the 3 arrows target only people lacking loyalty, filial piety, and justice. Being a danger to his parents and the king, nezha is marked by the arrows. But at the last minute, the arrow of righteousness turns around and saves him. The arrow becomes nezha's weapon, essentially supporting him in his quest to fight back against the king and his father, even if he's disloyal and disrespectful. When the powers that be are corrupted, resistance is the righteous choice. Similarly, the 2003 animated series The Legend of Nezha portrays the bow as an
Surprisingly, nezha has a lot of adaptations. What other myths and, I guess, legends are consistently made into films? At least from your own country. Let me know down below. I'm quite curious if you have a list of legends or myths that you think are very much created into films starting from a long time ago to even now, just because it's very much a beloved myth or legend or iconic for that matter.
instrument of salvation wielded only by those who can save the world. In over 1,000 years, nezha is the only one to draw it. Doing so, his arrow flies for 1,000 miles, and nearly Luigi the Tyrant King, saving China a whole lot of trouble. In this context, when his father punishes nezha for his transgression, we understand that nezha is right and the world is wrong. I'm sure we all notice a trend here. Indeed, present-day adaptations all prefer a heroic nezha who challenges authority. This change has become the new cultural canon. This transformation is partly a response to the novel's lackluster writing. Storytellers can't help but improve this character.
Yeah, especially if they enjoy the
reason
myth.
is due to the shifting Chinese culture.
Oh.
At the turn of the 20th century, China overthrew the imperial dynasties and established the Republic of China, a democratic nation without an emperor. Think about how crazy that is. Thousands of years of imperial rule, once assumed to be the natural way of the world, came to an end. Though the communist revolution that followed established a single-party rule, the revolution was nevertheless built on a promise of returning the means of production to the workers. In 1997, Hong Kong successfully ended British rule and was promised a system of self-governing. In short, the past century was one big lesson for us. There is no power beyond challenge. In light of these historical shifts, nezha becomes China's will of rebellion, a spirit
sense,
who
'cause it
once questioned
reflects
the
history.
divine rights of kings and now continues to question the flaws of our society. That's why nezha often feels like a modern person butting head against the old ways of life. If the world is wrong, then he will fight it to the end. It's a rather anime-sounding statement, which brings us to the nezha film series.
Oh man, this movie was so enjoyable. It was really funny
this is
too.
your final spoiler warning. In the 2019 nezha film, during the climactic battle with Albin, nezha utters a line that's hype as f***.
别挣扎了，你生来就是魔丸，这是命中注定。许你个鸟命，命由我不由天。
Yes.
In the continuing evolution of this story, we have arrived at our present cultural thesis. I am the master of my destiny. The 2019 nezha animated film and its sequel once again flipped the story on its head. In this version, nezha is changed into the reincarnation of a demon orb, a representation of evil. Presumably due to his demonic origin, or maybe because his absentee parents, nezha is quite a bit of a troublemaker. He is too strong to play with others. The people of Chengdang Pass fear him, and the children bully him. This relentless mistreatment only intensifies his urge to fight back, cementing his reputation as a villain. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy.
That's true.
Amid its slapstick elements, the film poses a deep question about the nature of evil. Is nezha born evil, or is he made evil? And if the universe branded him as evil, does that mean he is beyond redemption? To an average Chinese citizen, the most significant change in the recent decades is their rise in social mobility. 60 years ago, a Chinese person born into a farming family was almost destined to remain a farmer, with little chance of escaping their predetermined roles. However, with the economic growth of the 90s, the generations since then have found greater access to education. They can change the trajectory of their lives through the national entrance exam or
I'm not
pursue
sure what
careers
animation this
beyond
is,
the
but
family
it's really
tradition.
nice.
It's like China suddenly left from the Middle Ages to the modern times. In this process, people also began to question other traditional norms, from traditional gender roles to family dynamics. Thus, people began to pursue gender equality, workers' rights, and LGBT acceptance. Of course, China is far from a liberal country. People continue to struggle with limited political power and significant wealth inequality. Nevertheless,
true.
this recent history has fostered a belief that one's future can and should be in their own hands. Nezha, in my opinion, reflects this desire for freedom.
I can see why it would become a very beloved, huge beloved film and super popular when it was released, mostly because it reflects how everyone feels in general. And if that's the case, then yeah, obviously it's going to be loved. But I think another huge aspect of this, aside from the whole cultural stuff that he's talking about, the historical context and significance that this film has, the 3D animation done here is so well done. I swear, like if you're really into animation and 3D animation, just really passionate about animation, and you still haven't watched this, then I really recommend that you check it out because it's so clean, it's so good. Like I don't even I mean, there's a lot of 3D animations that's beautiful and well done, but this one was definitely up there in terms of how breathtaking it can be. And I have never realized that it could be this breathtaking. Like I have seen pretty good 3D animations over the years now, but this degree, it was quite astonishing in some ways. I highly recommend you check it out if you haven't. And of course, if you've already seen some spoilers, forget about it and watch it anyways, at least to appreciate the animation, even if perhaps you're not interested in the whole cultural and historical context behind the significance of this film.
As mentioned, investiture of the gods deviated from its contemporary religious beliefs, inventing new gods and altering history. For instance, back when the book was being written, the most popular version of Erlang was the second son of Li Bing, a hydraulic engineer from the Warring States period. It seemed the novel wanted to capitalize on the popularity of Erlang, as he was not only popular in real life, but also appeared in Journey to the West. But the novel took place several hundred years before Li Bing was even born, so the book invented its own versions of Erlang, calling him Yang Jian. Since then, however, Chinese culture embraced this OC. Today, Erlang temples often display multiple statues, including one from the book version. In this vein, these films and shows have reshaped cultural perceptions.
I guess that writer did their job.
In another 100 years, they, too, will become canon. So, what do I think about Nezha 2? Well, my feeling is complicated. On the one hand, this is not a film for me. The piss humor is not my cup of tea, and I find the emotional moments too forceful. At the same time, I'm also very impressed by it. The action scenes are some of the best ever. They are fast, snappy, and yet easy to read. The epic moments are grandiose and breathtaking. It's hype as hell. More importantly, the film feels deeply personal. It clearly reflects the director's style and fantasy. It is a film the director wanted to realize the very definition of a passion project.
Indie movies.
It's a film made by people, not by a company, not by a corporation, not reverse engineered from a focus group. While my preference differs from the filmmakers, that just means the movie has a personality. In my past life as a musician, I find that the best singers are often not the ones with the best techniques, but the ones who enjoy singing even without an audience. The best painters paint without clients, the best writers write without readers. It is the intrinsic drive of an artist. Nezha 2 is a product of this drive, and that's why it is so good.
I agree. Oh, I haven't watched Nezha 2, but Nezha, the first one, or I keep pronouncing it incorrectly, I'm so sorry. But that film, you can definitely sense that it's not a film made by a company, or at least one that, you know, has a lot of professionals and plan things out. I mean, obviously they plan things out, but it feels a lot more passion project. Kind of like, what would be a good example? Indie games. Like you can tell the difference between an indie game and a game made by a corporation for the most part. And I think you can definitely sense that as you're watching it, which is why it's so enjoyable. Now, like I said, I haven't watched the second movie, but I did hear that a lot of people enjoyed it. So it could be your cup of tea, maybe not. But overall, the themes inside the first movie and the way that they presented everything along with the character development was just so impeccable, almost refreshing. Like if you're the type that has watched so many anime or whatever, then perhaps watching this movie will be like a breath of fresh air. Sometimes that's what you need, something that's slightly different and makes things a little bit more refreshing and interesting for you. Then I highly recommend you check this out. Overall, this movie was something that I enjoyed even without all this cultural context and historical context. So if you did enjoy wuxia stuff, then it's very much a movie that you can fully enjoy even without understanding like the whole deeper end of things. But with this extra context, it does make me appreciate the film a lot more compared to before when I didn't have any context, obviously. So I highly recommend that you watch the movie if you haven't done so already. And if you did watch the movie, let me know how you liked it or if you didn't like it and why. I'm quite curious about your opinions on the movie and just what it is that fascinates you about this movie. And if you enjoyed this original video, then be sure to support it over there. And if you like my reaction to it, then make sure to give a like, comment below, subscribe, and share. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.